Hello. Hi. It's been so long since I've actually recorded one of these. Not that y'all would know because I queued up a bunch so that you guys wouldn't miss me too much. However, for myself, it's probably been like a month or two since I've actually recorded one. So, hi. So much to tell you. Um, and it's actually, I thought I was doing myself a service by recording all of these in advance because I'd give myself some leeway time, but now I just have people texting me be like, "Oh my god, you lost your job. Like I thought you just got that job, blah blah blah." So all of these were like a little bit these were all a couple months ago. So everything that's happening, everything that you've heard has already happened and been done and passed and I'm good and I swear I'm fine. Um so with that being said, I do have a job. I can't remember what the last episode says because it's been so long since I recorded it and it hasn't come out yet for me to re listen to. And I'm not going to go back and re listen to it because I have things to do. So basically, I have a job. I am employed. I love my job. I have kind of given a break from dating because it's miserable. Um, what else is new? Really, that's it. All I do is work. I gave up drinking. So I do have some tart cherry juice in a wine glass, but that is because I don't want to give up all my cool glasses that I have. So we're drinking our little juice out of a fun wine glass. So those are the top three newest things I would say. Um, and I dyed my hair. Yeah, big things happening. And today, I don't know if this will actually make the cut, but today I made my first really, really, really big sale at work. And I'm now in the top 5 earners, and that feels pretty good. So I'm doing good things, and that feels great. It feels good to be working towards something. Um, period. So that's about me. That's enough about me. It's not. We're going to talk a lot more about me. However, today we're going to talk about something that one of my dear friends has asked me to speak about. Um, for what reason I do not know because I am not qualified, honey. But I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it. So, what we're talking about today is her specific question was, what is true love? And how do you know if you're truly in love? And is that even a question that you should have? I'm going to tell you everything that I know to be true about love. Um, and first things first, I'm always going to come at you with a book recommendation. Did you think we weren't going to do that? So, first things first, the book called Everything I Know About Love by Dolly something is an excellent book and highly, highly recommend if you're just into that kind of shit. It's a memoir. It's all of her understandings of love in each stage of her life and just how it changes from, being a 13-year-old with your first crush to being, I think she was in her late 30s by the time she ended the book or concluded the book. And it's really eye opening. I'm definitely going to touch on some of the same topics here, or just like the same sorts of conclusions that you draw as you get older. But wow, such a good book. Ripped through that. Firstly, I'm going to go through my conception of what love was to me, ages, probably 16, 17 till 23. And obviously this is going to be, obviously things change in that time frame, but back then, bad way of thinking about love. Now I am older, wiser, and figuring it out. One of the main, there are so many points of, I'm just going to go through each point and probably ramble about each of them and get distracted. And you're just going to sit here and love that, okay? You're going to put up with it because there will be some nuggets, I promise. Just just give me a chance. So, the first two things I would say is in my past, I would see potential. And That's it. I would fall in love with the potential that somebody had, and I would be like, if they could just do this, 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 if I can just fix them. That's a big key. Nor. That's a nor. Red flag. Do not fall in love with potential. If they are not, especially now, if they're 20, I'm 26, if they're, between 24 and however old, like obviously you're going to have growing to do, but if there is going to be key things that probably aren't going to change or not change very much. You can't fall in love with somebody's potential. If they are inherently a lazy person, they're not going to someday provide for you. Even I don't care if you guys listen to all the same music. I don't care if he makes you laugh. Like if being provided for is one of your core things that you need and he's a lazy person, it's not going to change. Bye. So yeah, in the olden days, I would fall in love with people's potential. I would want to fix them and I would want them to fix me. And that was another one. That was more younger Kayla. Younger Kayla wanted someone to save me, wanted like that was probably 16 to 20. I was like, "Oh, like somebody like please like save me, take me away, like make me forget about my life. Like I need to be taken care of, but not in the good way. Like fix me. Like I'm so broken." Blah 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 blah. And then I would say 20 to 23 was more of that was my mommy time to like be a mother to all these sons. And both are equally shitty because nobody's gonna save you, bruh. Like, no one is. And you also can't save anybody else. You guys can be there for each other when you're in need of help, but we'll touch on that later. Another big red flag, in my opinion, in the way that I used to love or identify love as was having this like burning passion for somebody right off the bat, like immediate connection, like da 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 da, all the sparks that we think we're supposed to feel. Like there's a difference between sparks and like a trauma bond, and they're really hard to distinguish if you haven't thought about it, if you haven't like sat down with it and realized that it's a trauma response, like it's really hard to be like, oh no, 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 like this is because of trauma, not because like they're the light of my life. And unfortunately, they're hard to distinguish. But love off the bat, like we have been told since we were babies, since we were small boy tinies, that love is supposed to be this like sweep you off your feet and the second to see that you see them and like instant like Edward Cullen can't keep away from Bella type shit. That's not real love. That is actually so toxic and not good for the human race. Especially for women because I don't know, we've just been sold a fucking book of lies for a long ass time and I'm here to rip out the pages because they're all bullshit. But it shouldn't be this like burning desire for somebody. That is actually like your trauma showing, girl. Like as soon as I am really attracted to some guy, like the way, because usually I find myself, for an example, I will find that I'm like super attracted to guy when he's super into me, but like he's super into me in a love bomby way, and like and I'm like, oh my god, of course he's into me, but I'm like, actually that's not very healthy. Like he shouldn't be this obsessed with you yet, and you shouldn't be this obsessed with him. Like you can be like secretly a little bit obsessed, but if you guys are both showing it too soon, I think that's a trauma response that you both just like need someone real bad. Like you both need validation real bad. So yeah, that should not be the initial reaction with your love. Another another thing that I used to do in love was self-sacrifice to a fault. Like there is always going to be compromise. I think there's a big difference between compromising and sacrificing. And I don't think that real love requires that much sacrifice. Like there will of course be sacrifice, but I think a better word for it is compromise. And I think compromises will always have to be made. But if you are sacrificing like your mental health, your space, your time, your money to like try to make things work with a person. And like if you're just not taking care of yourself because you're trying to make a relationship work, that's not it. If you're only doing things that he likes to do because like you're trying to be chill and cool, that's you're self-sacrificing and you're self-sabotaging and you're self-betraying all by doing that kind of stuff. Like and that just creates such a bad relationship with yourself. Oh my god, like my poor self. I can't believe I used to do that shit. But I used to the guy that I dated for 3 years who was very toxic, like I bent over backwards for this guy to try to make him happy, to try to like save our relationship and literally got nothing in return. Like never felt safe with him, never like felt taken care of. And I was just constant like we were so miserable in that relationship. I was trying to make it happy. So I would spend all of my money. Like he would never pay for dates. He would be like, "I don't have any money." And I'm like, I literally, okay, whatever, fine, you don't have money. I'll take us to dinner. I'll take us here. I'll take us there. Like I'll do this. He didn't have a car. Like I let him take my car. I would walk to work sometimes and vice versa. And that's fine. But like I was giving up all of me for literally nothing in return to be abused, to be emotionally and physically abused. Another concept that so when I was in college, I took this class called marriage and courtship. And at the end of class, he said, if there's anything you ever get from this class, it's that you should marry yourself. And so all these years, I've been like, do we like the same music? Do we like this? Like, what kind of food do you like? What time do you go to bed? What kind of books do you read? Blah, 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 blah. And those things are all great if you share the same thing, but I did not take what he was saying deeply enough because it's not just marry yourself. Like, we listen to the same music. It's like, hey, do you want kids? Do you want to travel? Do you want to buy a house? Are you close with your family? Like, what are your values? What are the things you hold dear? What are your long term goals? And like, I think that that sounds super obvious, but I think some of us are just like, oh, like we listen to the same music, like da 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 da. Like it's great. But they haven't really had those like hard hitting conversations yet. And maybe that's for my younger crowd. Like that's for my 16 to 22-year-olds because I feel like people now know my age and up. Or I would say people 24 and up for the most part know like, hey, like let's talk about like what you're really looking for and like who you really are um versus like what kind of music do you like and like are you a leave the dishes in the sink at night or not kind of person. It should run much deeper than that. Like being similar is not just and it doesn't matter if you like the same music if he doesn't do anything else. Those are all things that like I thought love was about. And quite honestly, I was a walking red flag. And I was a walking attracting red flags girl because all of those things attract fucking assholes and people with issues. It attracts people who prey on you. And that is exactly what I got. The concept of love that I'm trying to adopt now, which is a work in progress because I still have all of those things inside of me. I still look at a man's potential and I look at what I can fix about them and I look at, I'm like willing to sacrifice too much and I catch myself. I'm like, no, no. The concept I'm trying to adopt now is one, and most importantly, two things that are the most important to me is one, I should feel safe. At the end of the day, I should feel so safe with this person. Safety and like I can be at rest and my heart rate is lowered and they regulate my nervous system. That is the absolute most important thing to me now. And secondly, equally so important is that it's a slow burn. And that's not to mean there isn't butterflies and sparks and like a instant connection, but it's not like, let me word vomit all my trauma on you and you tell me all your trauma and how can we relate, and oh my god, like I've been through the same as you've been, and oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like like let's heal each other, which never happens. You guys just end up feeding into each other's insecurities. Like it should be a slow wonderful burn where you get to learn each other and like really learn about each other's values and ask the real questions. And that's another thing in my old perception of love. I was selfless in some extent, but I was also selfish because I wanted the person to like want to know me so bad. And you should always like, I mean, that's not even bad, but like to a point where I wasn't like asking them about them. And now I take the mindset of I want to know everything about you. Like I want to know everything about you. I want to know what makes you tick, like what are your values, what are your goals, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Are you close with your family? When was the first time you made yourself or when was the first time you cried that you remember or no? Like you know what I'm saying. Literally words are so hard right now, but I want to know everything about this person so I can see if they align with me. And I want that, and at the same time I want that other person to want to know me deeply as well. But I want it to be reciprocal now. Like I'm not just seeking for this person to want to get to know me. I want to get to know you. And that sounds maybe weird and like maybe you should know that, but I didn't. So if you find maybe I guess what I'm saying is like if you find yourself like just wanting to be known, I don't think that means you should be in a relationship. I think that means you need to find yourself and you need to be known. You need to be known and understood in here before you can go out there and look for someone to get it. And in the same vein of like me wanting or me seeing the potential in somebody in the olden days, now it's like there's a difference between like yes, this person has potential, but like they're doing the things to be the potential. I'm going to leave that there. Also really important to me to understand people's communication styles. Um, and I don't think I ever asked anybody like about their communication styles ever in my life until maybe the last year. Um, and me and my ex had very different communication styles, and it blew up in our face because even when we did eventually have the conversations about what we needed in the conversations, we never really heard each other and we never actually did anything to support what they needed. Yeah, you should be able to work through your problems like pretty healthily. I think that's obvious. But like if all of your issues are marked by a very like if it's like I don't even want to bring this up because I don't want to deal with it, like you should feel comfortable bringing things up to your partner. And back to my point about safety, like you should feel very comfortable just being like, hey, I don't like this thing you're doing, like what can we do to adjust it, and then vice versa. um it's also really important to me, this has just always been important to me, but like love should be full of laughter, and if you're not like laughing your silly goose ass off with your partner, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Um, and how in the past I looked at someone and was like, oh, I hope they can save me. I hope they can fix me. I hope they can fill the void. Now I know so deeply that I need to be that for myself. Whatever it was I was looking for in another person, that needs to be found, signed, sealed, delivered in myself before I could ever start looking for someone else. And now I feel like I'm at the point where, like this last year, or 2 years since I've been broken up with my ex, like I hate that I'm still talking about him, but like I was dating and I just found myself all the time being like, girl, what are you doing? You got to work on X, Y, and Z first. And now I feel like I'm finally at the point where I'm not healed. I'm not like, there are things wrong, but like I know how to heal. I know how to fix it in myself, and I'm not expecting any guy to come and be able to save me. I know I have to do the work. Um, and if you feel like, even if a little nugget of you somewhere deep down feels like I just feel like there are so many people out there who are looking to get in a relationship to avoid something, and you're ruining your chances of real love if you're doing that, because you're never going to you are your most important vessel, and you cannot give yourself fully into a relationship if you are not okay. Like if you are not okay in here, you can't, like, it's just not gonna work. Like, yeah, there are people who get together and do that all the time, but their relationship, like, I see these people all the time and I'm like, you are two people who talk about the weather. Like you're not deep, like you haven't had those soul talks with yourself or with that other person. And you guys just, like, you're gonna be the classic couple that, like, the mom drinks Chardonnay and the dad goes and plays golf, and they have two kids, and the TV dinners. I don't even know, but like, what the fuck? I don't want that. I want to know myself and my person so deeply. And if you don't know yourself, if you don't know your Achilles heels, if you don't work on yourself, if you don't heal yourself, your relationships with everything, your relationships, personal, work, health, all things suffer when you are not working on yourself. And that's for real on health. And that's on period. Because not dealing with that shit comes out as physical trauma. Like comes out as not trauma, physical ailments. Holding in all that anger or stress or sadness or like feelings of inadequacies physically manifests, and I've seen it a million fucking times. And I've like the more that I've worked on, I physically see differences in myself when I heal. Oh my god, the body is so cool. Anyway, tangent. What I'm trying to say is you need to be okay before you get in a relationship. And if you're not, this could be the right person, but you're not okay. And like you need to like cut it off and heal yourself, and then you can maybe reassess or find a new person. But like, yeah. I had to define true love. I would say that it is a feeling of safety, a feeling of openness, a feeling of understanding, and like a connection that goes beyond like that lust and passion. It's like a warm and fuzzy, just like string between you that can never be broken. Some it's not so intense. It's like a big hug. It's so fucking cheesy. And to answer your question, my friend, if you're asking yourself if this is love, yikers. I don't think so. To me, it feels like there's a lot behind that question. And I think you already know the answer if you're asking yourself that question. Because I think when you love somebody, it's not a question of, when you're truly in love with somebody, I think you can question, how are we going to get through this? How could he do this to me? How could I do this to him? How are we going to make this work? Like, I think you can have those questions, but if you're questioning if it's love or not, I don't think I don't think that is good. um and to my friend or to anyone else who is listening and you're questioning your relationship or the person, you know, if any of the things that I said for my old concepts of love resonate with what you're feeling currently, if you're feeling like this intense stress, oh, like it's like almost dramatic, and like you like the drama. You don't think you like the drama, but you like the drama because it's like it's reenacting a trauma response or experience that you've had in probably your childhood. Um and and like you have to prove yourself, like all these things. Like if you feel any of the things that I've said, if you feel more than like two of the things that I've said in my old concepts of love in your current relationship, nor babes. Maybe one, because nobody's perfect. But I've stopped burping these because I listen back and I'm like, that's fucking gross, but kind of funny. Uh, But if you're experiencing more than two of those things in a relationship, I'm gonna say it's probably not it. And moving forward to just look for that person that like feels really safe, and that's going to take some time to like learn to love, because when I got out of my last relationship, which was pretty abusive, like I was still looking for that kind of person and I didn't even realize it. And then I had to check myself because I was like, girl, you are just creating a simulation of what you just went through. You need to like you need to heal so you can become attracted to the good things of like the new idea of love that I'm learning, and not be, because I was and sometimes still am attracted to that bad kind of person, that bad love, not necessarily a bad person, but person that I need to steer clear of. And like I would find myself still feeling those things, and I have to be like, no, actually it is not attractive to not have my needs met, and now I need to like find that person who meets my needs. And I have to remind myself of why that's good for me. Um, and it doesn't take like it's like if you don't want to have that kind of love in your life, it's hard. It's hard to make yourself want something that you don't actually, not actually. It's hard to make yourself want something that is good for you, because what's bad for you has been like this place of comfort because it's what you've known, but it's not right. So like, yes, Kayla, he has an open communication style and tells you what he wants. Oh, like, yes, I like that. Not like, oh, he's leaving me on a string. Like, wonder if he even cares. Like I used to like that shit, and I trained myself not to. I'm like, no, that's actually not fucking cute. That's not cute. I love a guy who tells me how he feels and plans a motherfucking date. That's so hot. Instead of like random, like super evasive likes my story at 3 a.m. and I'm like, oh, he's thinking about me. No, girl. Nor, girl. Anyway, have I beat the horse dead? Is the horse dead? Have I beat it? Is she gone? Is she? I feel like I've answered the question now, hopefully. Um, so if you've got anything, if any of those things in my old way of loving resonates with your current relationship, get the fuck out of there. And if that's the case, that also means like it's like a chart. It's like a, not a chart, it's like a choose your own adventure. So if you answered yes to any of these questions, you go this way, and this way is you need to heal. And if you answered no, you're in a good relationship. Happy for you. Love you so much. So happy. Love that for you. Keep doing it. Stay with them. Hold on tight. um, because the slim pickings out there. um, yeah, I think that's it. But for real, like if anything, work on yourself. Work on yourself. I don't know how many times I have to harp on that. Work on yourself. Do the work for yourself. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work on yourself. And if you need a good book for that, Everything I Know About Love is great for learning about love. Um, The Mountain Is You, 101 Essays That'll Change Your Life. Um, The Defining Decade, Money. Um, I Will Teach You to Be Rich so you can get on top of your motherfucking finances, because you should be. Um, just like do the work, read the books, listen to the podcasts, journal, stop going out all the time, do the work, and then love will come. Love will come so much more easily to you, and the right love will come. And you will deserve it. Or you still do deserve it now. You deserve love, but you need to give yourself the love. Okay? Give yourself love. Don't date assholes. Be fine by yourself, because it's going to be fine. And listen to my podcast. Yeah. Anyway, that was so extra. I hope you enjoyed. Love you so much. Bye.